Hi fashion sewers, welcome to another tutorial. Today I will be showing you how to make a neckline design, and this is very easy and simple, and let's just jump right into the tutorial. Now these three pieces of fabrics are what I need to make my neckline design, and this center piece can be any type of fabric of your choice, and it can also be the same fabric as the other ones. And the length of this fabric is 16 inches, and it can also be any length of your choice. Now this big piece of fabric is 4 inches in width, the center one is 3 inches in width, and the last one is 3 inches in width. And also note that I have ironed interfacing at the backs of these fabrics, and the interfacing is soft stay. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this 4 inches in width fabric and place ½ inch in and iron, and this 3 inches in width piece of fabric I will take ½ inch in and iron, and this other 3 inches center piece I'll place it in half and iron, and I'll go on and do that and I'll be back. And now as you can see, I am done ironing everything down. And for this center piece, all I needed was to get the center line. That is why I had to fold it in half and iron. And now as you can see, my center line is obvious. Now I'll place this over like this, close to the center line, but make sure you give a little bit of space from the center line, because we need this fabric underneath to show and add a little bit of color to this design. And I'm going to go on my sewing machine and stitch from top to bottom, and I'll place this over like this, and I'll also go on my sewing machine and stitch from top to bottom. Now make sure that you leave a little bit of space in between the fabric underneath so it would show. As you can see, I am done stitching mine, and as you can see, it adds a little bit of color to the design. And as you can see, I marked 1 inch at each side of my fabric, and I marked that 1 inch from the edge of this fabric. I marked that 1 inch at both sides. Now next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place this 1 inch over like this, but before we do that, let's just trim off this excess. Now I'll start placing that 1 inch in and fold it over like this, and I would also do the same on this other side. And next thing I'm going to do is I'll take this to my iron and press it down, and I would be back. Now as you can see, I have ironed this down, and next thing we're going to do right now is to place this part on fold by ½ inch, place it over by ½ inch, and go on and iron and press it down. Now as you can see, I am done doing just that. Now next thing you're going to do is come down at the bottom of this fabric and take 2 inches upwards, and we're going to cut it out like this diagonally. Cut it out like this, and also come at this edge of your fabric and also take 2 inches upwards, as you can see. And I'm also going to cut this out like this from that folded edge. Just cut it out like this. And now this is just to reduce bulkiness around the bottom of this neckline design. Now at this point, you can just go on and fold ½ inch in. Just fold ½ inch in, and from this point you can just make any kind of design or shape you want. You can just fold this in like this, and you have this beautiful neckline shape. Or you can as well just fold 2 corners in, and you have your sharp edge like this. You can see how beautiful that is looking already. And you can as well just leave it straight. Now I'll go on and press this down with my iron. Now moving on, this is going to serve as my placket piece, and this is 7.5 in length and also 3 inches in width. Now, as you can see, I have also ironed my interfacing at the back. What I used was soft stay. Now get the fabric you're going to be working with, and this is mine. This is a men's senator top, and just fold it in half and press the center with an iron. This is so you can get the center line and know where your center front is. Now I will start placing in my neckline design and also my placket piece. Now here is what we will start doing. We'll first of all fold this placket piece in half on the side and iron, and also fold 1/2 inch in on the side and iron. Now once we are done doing that, as you can see, I have done just that. Now on my center part of my front fabric, I will just outline that iron center line. Now at that center line, I will take 5 inches for my neckline opening. Now you can use 6 inches for your neckline opening, 7 inches for your neckline opening, depending on the person's head you are working with, depending on how big the person's head is. Now I'm going to take this placket piece and fold 1/2 inch over like this, as you can see, and I'll place this part over here like this. Now I'll pin this down. Now I'll go on my sewing machine and I will stitch from this point all the way up, and I'll take it to my sewing machine and I will do just that. And please do note that it is very important to backstitch at that point where your stitch ends. Now you're going to follow that center line mark and just start cutting, and make sure you stop 1/2 inch before this line. Now we're going to cut diagonally straight down to our stitch. Now just cut it like this. Now this is done so that you can have an easier turnover and you won't have any rumples on your fabric, so you can turn this over with ease. Now I'll just turn this over to the wrong side of my fabric, and I'm going to fold this over like this and also fold this in over this like this, and I'm going to start running my stitches. And when stitching, make sure you stop about the same 5 inch opening of your neckline. And do not forget to make a back stitch. Now I will just go on and trim the excess off a little bit like this, as you can see. Now you will get this bigger neckline design and we'll just place it in like this. Now you're going to place 1/2 inch and sew all the way just at that same 5 inch opening where the other one ends. Now we'll take this to our sewing machine and start stitching. And now, as you can see, I am done making my stitching, and I'm going to also cut this. I'm also going to cut this very close to the stitch so as to turn this over with ease. Now I will turn this in to the good side of my fabric. Now next thing we're going to do right now is we're going to go on our sewing machine and we're going to stitch from this middle point right here to right here and all the way to right here, just very close to that 5 inch opening. Now make sure you get this out of the way. Make sure you don't have it underneath. Get that placket piece out of the way as you stitch. Now as you can see, I am done stitching, and you need to make sure that your stitch is at the very end of your fabric. Now using my chalk, I will outline that iron center line on my fabric, and I would place this in like this, and I'll place this over it. Now before you start making your stitches, you need to make sure that this center matches this center line. Now we're going to go on our sewing machine, and we're going to start stitching from right where that our former stitch ended. We're going to follow that stitch and keep stitching all the way to the bottom and all the way up to where our former stitch started. Now the key is to make sure that you hold this down as you stitch. Make sure to hold it down, and we're going to go on our sewing machine and start making that stitch right now. And as you stitch, make sure that you place your neckline design at the center. Make sure that this part lays well and follows that center line. If you do not do this right, and if you do not set this right at the center, your neckline design is going to come out looking funny and bending to one side. So you need to make sure that you take your time, pin your fabric down if necessary, and relax and stitch it down slow and steady. Now as you can see, I am done making my stitches, and you can go on and put in your clip ins or whatever thing you want to use and hold these down. And as you can see, this is the inside of my placket, and you can see how nice and neat it looks. And this is the neckline design. And if you like this video, do give this video a thumbs up, and hope to see you in much more nicer tutorials to come. And see ya.